Black Sun Deathcrawl is written by James McGeorge. It's compatible with DCCrpg. You can see it's in a fanzine size. This came out a couple years ago. It's about 58 pages. And let's take a look at it. I picked this up at GaryCon, I believe, from James. So sorry for the glare, but let's read the back. You are the cursed remnants of a life in a universe of decay. Cannibalistic parasites, you suck a meager existence from the corpse of a long-dead reality. Once you had nations, races, goals. Now you are one united at last in the unending struggle for survival in a reality that abhors you. Once you had love and happiness and light. Now there is only the crawl. So this website, I couldn't get anything from that. It says $8 to murder a tree. Pay what you want for a PDF. Couldn't find that. It was available on Gumroad at one point, but now it's not available. Goodman Games still has it, I believe, for $8 plus shipping if you want to pick it up. And let's take a look. So my first overall thought of this is, obviously, it's something very bleak. It's very dark. And this is going to be for, I don't think this is going to be like for a long setting. I mean, maybe if you can make it go that long, it would be something. But maybe for a one-shot or two. And it's a little bit of a setting. It's got a little bit of an adventure in there, a couple of creatures. Not a whole bunch of art, but you can see the art is very much like the cover here. And worms. Worms is what came to my mind. The players are playing characters that are in a post-apocalyptic world where the Black Sun has pretty much destroyed the Earth, and the only way to get away from it, is to bury themselves down deep into the Earth, keep digging, and to get away from the Black Sun's light that corrupts not only your body but your mind as well. So you can see when I first started opening it up, there's a little bit of art there. I was kind of like, there's a bunch of just words, a couple words here and there on each page. And I was like, oh man, this is just eating up page after page. But still, I think it gets its point across pretty easy, and it's pretty cheap, so that helps as well. So time is entropy, gravity is death, the cursed creed, and it goes on like that in the beginning here. As you can see, there was nothing. Then came the twin suns, light sun, black sun, and where they met there was life. But the Black Sun did ascend and bring with it suffering eternal. The door between the all and the other slammed shut. All that was good fled in the face of terror itself, hoping to trap the Black Sun within a prison of existence. Now there is a grinding certainty to life. Day over day, those that stand out are measured and worn down, eroded by the unrelenting pressure of existence, until only a smooth surface remains. Even memory fades, yet existence continues on, ultimately undisturbed. Now we, the cursed, and that's who the players will play as, that's their characters, are condemned to this bleak existence. We measure days in terms of length and depth. The lengths we are willing to go to survive, the depths to which we will sink. There used to be life, now there is only the Black Sun and its black and terrible thoughts. We dig deep to escape their wrath. The charred remains of what was surrounds us, scattered like spoiled meat upon this darkling plain, as the Black Sun looks down with sanguine menace. Once we had names, once we were people, now we're only the cursed. Pray for us. And then again, the art, and here it tells you a little bit about the world. It's kind of interesting. It starts off a little bit more information about what's going on, and in essence, the Black Sun's light, you have to get away from it. Again, this is after an apocalyptic world. The Black Sun has already won and pretty much destroyed the world, and you were trying to get away from its light by digging down deep into the soil. I know that sounds very strange, and that's where I thought about, you're playing kind of worm type characters. It says here, and yet the cursed dig, not because they hope to escape, not because they hope to find a better life, not because they hope, but rather because they have forgotten what it means to do anything but dig, fight, and flee. Life itself can be a curse. So yeah, very interesting. So there's two main creatures here underneath the ground here, trying to get away from the Black Sun. Black thoughts and terrible thoughts. Black thoughts you could possibly fight. It says black thoughts worm and slither, sliding through the cracks. They can be driven off and sometimes even destroyed. Thin and flimsy things, they flutter and shiver, preferring to take their enemies unaware while they sleep or are otherwise distracted. Terrible thoughts. They break and smash, huge and solid. They cannot go where the cursed have not already been to loosen the earth for their passage. They cannot be destroyed, only escaped. So obviously very tough. Here's Oblitus Omega. It says, this is a tale told in hushed whispers among the rare gatherings of the cursed, a tale of time's event horizon, when the multiverse was succumbed to heat death, leaving nothing but the cold, dead space of the Black Sun's inevitable victory, ultima null. Through the frigid expanse, they say, floats Oblitus Omega, the last god. So there's a couple of encounters that you can have with Oblitus Omega. It says here kind of how you interact with them. There's a creature called Teeth. No one is sure what these creatures are or where they came from. Perhaps they are some foul minion of the Black Sun, although they do not seem to work in tandem with the black and terrible thoughts. Perhaps they are some sort of opportunistic interdimensional predator drawn to the stench of universal carrion. Regardless of their origin, they live in the darkness, unseen, save for their massive set of teeth. Then there's slaves. Pretty much these are, it says, the oppressive yoke of the Black Sun skews that line, and even the most sure-footed can lose their way. Slaves believe that the only way they can be free of the curse of existence is to release the Black Sun from its prison. They believe they must dig, not to escape, but to crack the foundations of all's mortar, so that their God may escape. Here are a little bit of some of the rules and how the saying is different. So direct exposure to the light of the Black Sun causes agony and death, stretched into infinity by the weights of its thoughts. The Black Sun is far too sadistic to simply allow death to become so gently. However, Black Death comes physical and mental deformity. The black light worms its way inside everything, corrupting what it does not destroy. So if a character is exposed to the black light, roll 1d4 on this. This is the exposure corruption chart. And add a +1 for every additional 60 seconds or 6 rounds of exposure. And of course, these are terrible. Skin scab, muscle melt, cave blind, thought infection, hell symphony, worm tongue. So they go on and on. More art. And then truths. This is how you kind of make your character. Identity is irrelevant in the face of Oblivion. Characters have no names, no races. They are only the cursed. Only the strong survive. So this is roll 4, drop the lowest for your attributes. Knowledge has no meaning in a fallen world. There are no wizards. Possessions have no value in an impermanent world. There are no thieves. If there is a higher power, it does not care. There are no clerics. Life is endless conflict. All characters start as first-level warriors with no equipment. Corruption is inherent to our nature. Upon creation, each character should roll 1d6 for black light corruption. So you're going to already start off with something. If they roll a 6, take that result and roll again. So it could go higher and worse. Entropy is absolute. Each half day of real-time gameplay. So that's cool. You can set a clock, set a stopwatch or something and timer, and you could do this. Each player makes an entropy roll. This is a cumulative 1d4 roll on the black light corruption chart as black light seeps into the earth. So pretty much the black light from the sun, it goes through the earth and it's going to reach you at some point. So that's why you're trying to dig deeper and deeper to get away. So attributes bottom out at 3, except hope, which can only drop below 3 by choice. So existence is random and without meaningful purpose. During the entropy roll, if a 1 is rolled on any die, gain a level. So as you gain more, the chance of you rolling a 1 is good, and you'll roll a level. You'll get a level, so that's good. Any respite from reality is temporary. There's a rare metal called black rock. It can hold back the rays of the black sun for longer than normal Earth, approximately 6 hours. Normally, solid Earth only provides 1 hour of resistance. So in essence, it tells you how black rock is obviously something that you'd want to look for. It's a means of staving off the black sun for longer. And it tells you how you can rest and restore your hit points. Everyone digs their own grave. Anyone with a 0 strength modifier can dig 5 cubic feet per round. For every point of strength modifier, add or subtract 2 cubic feet. So that's interesting. And I'll talk about how I think you have to kind of run this game. So here's something very neat, and this is probably one of the best things about it. There's no luck. Only hope can save us, and it is finite. So hope is in place of luck. And it can be burned. However, hope does not regenerate. If the character's hope reaches 0, they have given up utterly and commit suicide, finding peace at last. And that's ultimately how your character is going to die in this game. Because here, you've got this is pretty neat. Characters may steal hope. This kind of goes with regenerating. You can get it. You can steal it from other characters. In order to do so, the player should pass the judge a note indicating that they will do what they will do to another character in order to do so. This can be something as simple as stealing their food in the middle of the night, 1 point, or tripping another character as they flee to allow them a greater chance of escape, 6 points. The amount of hope stolen depends on the action taken, the description given, and the discretion of the judge. So, and you can only go down Characters with hope scores of 3 or less cannot have their hope stolen, but they can only burn it away. We're exceptional only in the manner in which we choose to exit this world. Mighty deeds of arms only trigger if the character is burning his final point of hope. That's impressive. And then this, only we can choose when the suffering ends. When a character's hit points fall below 0, they leave the game for 1 round before being returned to life, all hit points restored. They may not roll another character and must roll 1d6 on the Black Sun corruption chart. Only when their hope attribute reaches 0, suicide, may they actually perish. So here's a little bit of art, and this is all called the Curse. It's a couple of encounters, which I'm not going to go through here. It is kind of gives you a bit of a taste of what this game's about, this setting, I should say. And here's an appendix here for you to kind of get some insight into the madness of thinking about what this setting is. And then here's a character sheet. So obviously, no place for a name. You're a warrior. What level? All the stuff you got here. Very simple. So, Black Sun Deathcrawl is a very bleak game. It is a game with really, as it says, there's no hope for you. And I don't think this is going to be for everybody, but I think it would be very interesting for players and judges to give this game a try, this setting a try, as you could play it as a one-off, see how your players, how they deal with a world like this, where they're constantly besieged by these terrible thought creatures, having to dig away from the sun, but it also gives them levels. It's a real give and take type setting, but ultimately ending in nothing but bleakness. The adventure, well, I can't say it's an adventure, but it's kind of just a couple of encounters, but it kind of gives you a little bit of a taste of what it might be like to play this. It's not completely fleshed out, and that's one thing I want to say is that the judge is going to have to really have a good sense about what they want to create when they play this, when they run this game. It's going to be very, very different, I think, for everybody involved. There's a supplement out there called Veins of the Earth. It's by Patrick Stewart. It's for Lamentations of the Flame Princess. It's a very good book, and it has to deal with pretty much dungeoneering, like going underneath caves and light and darkness. I think it would be something that would be very good to use with this if you wanted to flesh out these monsters a little bit more. It may actually give your players a little bit more hope. So in the vein of this setting, it may not work well with it. But this is different. It's slightly strange. It's, of course, the word bleak is going to come up a bunch, but yes, it's very bleak. But I think it's going to be very interesting for the players to decide when they're going to maybe call the weak, steal hope from other players. How will your other players react to that? So I think it's going to kind of test both the judge and the players on something that's, way outside their probably their norm, if they're, sticking to just basic kind of fantasy stuff. And, it's also got a bit of heart in it too. So as there's creatures that can't be destroyed, things of pretty much of nightmare. And yeah, it's going to be something that I think will be a very unique experience should you decide to play it. So there's Black Sun Deathcrawl. It is available on Goodman Games' website, like I said. I'll have the link down at the bottom in the description. And there's also another book called Null Singularity. It's on DriveThruRPG, and it says that it's inspired by Black Sun Deathcrawl. So I'll have the link for that as well. I don't own that, but maybe if you want to check something out that you can get the PDF of, that I think will be in the same vein as Black Sun Deathcrawl. So it's very minimalist. It's going to need a lot of work on the judge's part, but I think it should lead to a very unique and brutal couple sessions if you can last a couple sessions. So yeah, there it is, Black Sun Deathcrawl. Check it out, and you can pick it up from Goodman Games, like I said. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for me, I appreciate that, and it lets me see that you're out there. And if you've played this, or you watched this video and you picked it up and then you give it a try, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear y'all's views on some of these adventures and settings. So let me know. And thanks for watching.